here tonight and spending your personal time talking with me about what matters most to you. I, as you know, just completed my tenure as mayor a couple of weeks ago, and I enjoyed thoroughly my tenure as mayor of the city of Manchester. And I'd like to think that we improved the city in many areas, and we left it a better place than I found it when I first became mayor. And I had a tough decision to make whether I was going to run for re-election in May or if I was going to serve the state in a different capacity. And it was a difficult decision for me because I cared very deeply and enjoyed the privilege of being mayor of the city. I felt that we had made inroads in transparency, in reforming government, in reducing taxes, in restricting government to be what it's supposed to be focusing on, the services that it truly is supposed to provide. And as we saw things change with the nation, I, like many people in the state, grew very concerned. And I felt that I could best serve New Hampshire by completing my tenure as mayor, which just ended a couple of weeks ago, and deciding back in May to announce my intention to run for Congress. And it has been a great opportunity to serve as mayor. I've learned a great deal, but most of all, I've always felt that I had an open door and an accessible mayor's office to the people. And what we're seeing today in this country is very, very different. Up until Tuesday night, this Congress was not listening to people in New Hampshire. This Congress was not listening to the American public. But lo and behold, in the most liberal state in the country, not a Democrat was elected, but a Republican who talked about an independent voice and listening to the people. This Congress has lost its way. It is not listening to the regular, everyday people who churn out the economy, who care very deeply about their kitchen table issues, who try to find ways to provide for their family, to save for their kids' college, and to provide a better life, a more prosperous life for the children's future. And I think for the very first time in a long time, we feel as a nation that we do not have an opportunity to see our children's lives better than ours. And I know that just as much as all of you know it, because our kids are 6 and 5, and Morgan and I have to talk about our future planning for them. And I decided that I could either be quiet or I could take a stand and use my voice to reflect and represent the people of the 1st Congressional District in Washington. So I've got 10 more months to campaign. This is my first day of the tour that we're having. We've got a 60-stop tour in 40 communities. We're doing 7 town halls after we've done 2 already on the congressional tour earlier last year, and that's on top of the 20 town hall meetings that I did as a mayor. And I tell you that because I think it's in stark contrast to the representation that we all receive today. We have very limited access to our member of Congress. We have very limited access to the People's House. And let's not forget that the lower branch, the House, is supposed to be about you. It's supposed to be the most connected to the people. And I don't think that America feels that we have that connectivity to our representatives in Congress. That's got to change first and foremost. And secondly, we've got to demand, and we've got to keep demanding, that Congress listen to how we want government to function. For the last 10 months, we have been arguing, or watching an argument, about government-run health care. And we have been watching an argument about the level of spending that Congress feels is adequate to get our country moving again in the right direction. And I can't tell you how more firmly in disagreement I am with the policies that are being put forth by our member of Congress and this Congress. First and foremost, I am vehemently opposed to government-run health care. I think New Hampshire has spoken. I think the American public has spoken. And it's about time that we have a representative that listens to the kinds of reforms that people are looking for. I think most people agree that the quality of care in this country is the best. What people are looking for are solution-based ideas, not partisan ideas, but solution-based ideas to make insurance more accessible and more affordable for everyone in this country. And that is a big, big difference between proposing a government-run plan or what I and other members of Congress have already proposed. And the first thing I want to do before I continue on with the town hall is to make a commitment to each and every one of you, so you know clearly where I stand. If this bill passes, the first thing I will do is fight to repeal it, and I'm going to sign a pledge right now to make sure that everybody knows that I'm clearly on record as to how I would represent you. And this is after 10 months of campaigning, listening to people, holding town hall meetings, and hearing that people don't want government-run health care, but they want real reform that's going to positively impact you, your family, and your business. Now, for those of you who haven't seen this, I just want to quickly read it so everybody knows what I'm signing. It says, "Repeal it, U.S. Representative Candidate Pledge." And it reads, "I, Frank Gitta, hereby pledge to the people of my district, New Hampshire 1, upon my election to the U.S. House of Representatives, to sponsor and support legislation to repeal any federal health care takeover passed in 2010, and replace it with real reforms that lower health care costs without growing government." And I think that this is an important pledge because it says three things. It says government is not going to run your health care. It says I'm not going to spend more of your money to provide you more health care. And it gives you a promise, a point-blank direct promise, that if I ever violate it, you have every right to fire me as your member of Congress. Now, this tour that we're beginning today, and I had a great day in Bedford today. First of all, I want to tell you, I went to Karen's Kitchen, and not to necessarily plug any one great business here, but great breakfast. I met both Republicans and Democrats. I met a specific gentleman who is self-employed, who stated he was a Democrat, who said he's supporting our effort. And I asked him, what's the one thing you'd like me to do? And he said, I want you to cut my taxes. Why? Because it's going to put more money in my pocket to grow my business. This is not about Republican or Democrat. This is about what people in this state and in this country want out of their Congress. And our tour of the district is designed to ensure that people know what kind of legislator and representative I would be. Open, accessible, forthright. We may not always agree on everything, but you're going to have every opportunity to convey your positions and how you want me to act and conduct myself when voting on your behalf. And I think that that is so critically important. So critically important. Now, as we complete this tour in the first 7 weeks, we'll take a 2-day break and then we're going to start all over again. We're going to make sure that people in every part of the district have an opportunity to convey their positions to me, to talk with me about their positions. And tonight, we're going to be talking specifically about health care and spending. So rather than me continue to talk to you about my positions, I'd love to hear from you. I'd like to know, what is it that you want out of your government? What is it that you want about health care? What is it that you want about spending? And as I answer questions, I will certainly be able to expand on my positions and how I think solutions are available to us that not only will help New Hampshire, but help the country. So with that, I'll open it up to questions. Yes, sir.
3 questions. I'd like to know your position on cap and trade,
Opposed?
amnesty, and card check.
Cap and trade.
Amnesty,
Amnesty.
and card check.
Okay, I'm opposed to card check, I'm opposed to cap and trade, and I'm opposed to amnesty.